I recently did a video where I clarified some of my comments about Cornel West, and I'll do it again very quickly. I don't want him personally to be president because I disagree with him on a couple of huge issues. A lot of other folks did, and I asked for why you did and what your reasoning was in the comments, and I got to go through that video and have what is for me an idyllic Sunday afternoon, sipping coffee, petting the terrier, and having an in-depth political discussion. Not trying to convince somebody that vaccines aren't a secret plot to put Wi-Fi in your nasal cavity or whatever the hell it is. No, it was a real political discussion, and it really made me think. And it brought something to the front of my mind that I want to discuss now, which is if this is the kind of folks that are not only voting, but are actually involved in government, we are going to just take this country over. No matter where you fall on that particular office, one office in a nation that's got thousands and thousands, you are the sort of person who should be in charge. I don't know that I would vote the same as you, but I would definitely vote for you. I would. Every one of you. Because you care enough. But all the time, I hear people say, run for office, and they don't really give a pitch for how that is done. I would recommend, first and foremost, that you start easy. Run for the easiest office to get. Here's why. Number one, you should be able to find out whether you're good or bad at the job of being a politician in a setting where it doesn't it's not the highest stakes thing imaginable. You're not going to be heartbroken if you don't get it. Pick out a job that sounds kind of fun. And then understand that you are learning how the political process works. Not just, oh, whose hand do you have to shake? Nonsense. None of that. You talk to the people. That's who you deal with. No, it's how do you sign up? How much paperwork do you need to get together? How much money do you need? Do you need any money at all? How much time do you need? Let's go over it. Find out. This here is from a site called Online Candidate. What are the easiest political offices to run for? Let's go over it. This is by Shane Daly, and you know it's a crunchy website when you get a pop-up like that. Running for any political position is a challenge, but some are easier than others. Without experience, many first-time political candidates have no idea where to start in politics. You may not know how to start or even know what opportunities exist. If this is you, you are not alone. Local offices typically have less responsibility than national or state level elected positions. Local offices may include positions such as mayor, councilman or woman, city council member, it's the same thing, etc. Positions at this level require little to no experience but come with low pay and little job security. National and federal office positions have more responsibility and often require higher levels of education, like an undergraduate degree in political science or law. So what office should you run for? If you are looking for an elected position that is easy to win, and this is what I recommend, get the ones that are easy to win. You probably want to target one that does not require a large and expensive campaign. Let's be a $0 politician. What government positions are available? Positions in local government are often easier to campaign for and win than yada, yada, yada. However, here we go. They can be just as important to the lives and welfare of constituents. Here are some offices and positions you may want to consider. This is actually important. The titles and duties vary depending on your state or municipality. I have not put a link in the description that lists out all the titles, for example, because of this. I have not put a link in the description that tells you specifically what you need to do in your area, because I would be doing it all the way up until election day and the work wouldn't be done. Instead, I've given you what you need to search for, and it's pretty easy. You just say, how do I run for office in my area? If you are looking to start a political career of public service, consider running. Oh my God. Okay, here we go. Here's an example of the kinds of things you can run for. Mayor, city council, at-large councilman or councilwoman, town council, alderman, selectman. I don't know what a selectman is. I forgot to look that up. Precinct delegate, assessor. But here's what you do. Go down that list and Google what the responsibilities are, what the actual job entails. For those first two, the responsibility is largely attending city council meetings. You listen to the issues provided, and then you vote on them. It's that simple. If you have never seen a city council meeting before, because of the Open Meeting Acts, most city councils now are required to stream their meetings. Go look for your city council, your town council, even what is it called? A city board of commissioners, or just a board of commissioners. Look that up on YouTube. I bet you'll find it. And it's gonna seem boring as sin until you realize that the very environment you live in was dictated by that boring conversation, and it becomes a hell of a lot less boring when it's people informing you of the facts surrounding a decision you will be asked to make. Asked to make. There we go. County governments are in charge of enforcing county and state laws and regulations. They provide public safety services to the people living in the county, including health care, sheriff and police protection, county courts, roads, and highway maintenance. The county is also responsible for registration and authentication of vital events such as birth, marriage, death records, and voter registration and election administration. Boy, would you rather have a bunch of right-wingers in charge of election administration, a bunch of people who don't believe in facts or truth or reality, or would you rather have a bunch of lefties who are going to do their damnedest to make sure that everybody is allowed to vote? County elected officials in offices, etc., etc. Ooh, one of them is sheriff, though. Be warned, don't let that sheriff go. If you know anybody who is a lefty cop, truly, anyone who is a lefty cop, try to get them to run for sheriff. Because there will be less dead black folks if lefties are in charge. That's a reality. But there are other reasons you should run, or at least forget actually running. There are other reasons you should look into running. There's value just in searching. Here it is. Let's start with just the value in searching. Let's say you search in your area. What do I need to do? What do I actually have to do to have my name be on a ballot? And you find out those answers. And you think about it for a weekend, you drink it over, and you decide, no, it's just not me. I just watched one of those city council meetings. I got 15 minutes in, and I saw a dark vision of my future where I've lost every third weekend of my life to this nonsense, and I can't stand it. I don't want to do it. All right, fair enough. But you've still gained a knowledge of what is actually needed. So if you come across someone over the course of the next year that you genuinely think should run. Let's say a retired teacher looking to make a little extra money. Maybe they want to be mayor. You can tell them exactly what to do. You can say, well, did you go down to the assessor's office? Did you go down to your county? Yada, 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 yada. Here's the basics of what you got to do. Determine the position in which you are interested in and fill its filing requirements. Then obtain the necessary documents from your local or county clerk or the State Bureau of Elections. You determine that by Googling, how do I run for mayor of blank, city council in blank, etc., etc. Even if you don't actually submit the documents, you'll have experience navigating the system in your neck of the woods, making you better able to assist your preferred candidates. Now let's take it up a notch. Let's say you run and you lose. You will have still pushed the entire race farther to the left. If there's a primary in your area, might not be, but if there is a primary in your area, the primary candidate that beats you is going to see how much or how little you won by. And I'll tell you, in a small town, a couple of dozen votes is earth-shaking. It really can be. So you can make them more interested in having left-leaning ideas. If you run and you lose to you make it through the primaries, and then you lose anyway to the right-winger, don't worry, because you've still made them fight for something that they wouldn't have otherwise had to fight for. After all, if you're a first-timer running and you got all the way to that point, it's unlikely that there would have been a very vigorous campaign in your stead if you hadn't done it. You didn't knock aside anybody who would have done better than you, and you know that because you got there, and they didn't. If that happens in counties all over the United States, and by the way, this is true around the world, if that happens, we are going to utterly drain the money that Republicans have to work with. Remember earlier, talking about Rudy's election fund, saying the people that give to that are going to feel like they've already done their part. It goes the other way too. If somebody donates to their pal on the city council and they write them a check for $500, ooh boy, so that person can afford to buy TV ads to just blow you out of the water. That person that wrote the $500 is a hell of a lot less likely to send any money at all to Rudy Giuliani, to Donald Trump, to the Republican Party in general, because they will have felt already like they've done their part. So you're going to be helping massively in that regard. In addition, it's possible that local races can request money from the state GOP. Say, hey, we don't want to get embarrassed here. Help us out. Let me wet my beak a little bit. And then you're directly draining money from other worse candidates. I say worse in terms of the effect they can have. Good. Then there's the other option. What happens if you get into office? If you get into office, you might find that you're damn good at it. You might find that this has been a job that's been waiting for you your whole life. And you just didn't know it. Maybe they've been waiting for your act 2 in life. Maybe they've been waiting for you to wander in, push open the saloon doors one day. This might be the beginning of something. At the very least, it's going to be an experience that will allow you to have a better understanding of what's happening around you constantly. so that you can vote smarter, you can advise better, and maybe you can move up. It's also going to help quite a bit when local news reporters have to ask you your opinion on this, that, or the other thing. I cannot tell you how many times we've, in the local news, we've been like doing a report just during election season about what all the candidates have to say about this issue or that. And there just aren't voices in the Democratic Party to respond. So you wind up with a bunch of candidates doing various different right-wing takes on the same issue. But if you're in office or if you're a candidate for office, they are required, by the law, they're required to get your opinion as well. So just being able, like you're doing right now in the comments, just being able to weigh in with a progressive political take, being part of the conversation is hugely important. So what can you do about the right-wingers who are trying to turn the United States into a dictatorship? Show up, compete against them, take over your town, make it a haven. Plant some seeds for a potential political future, either for yourself or for others. And regardless, make yourself a voice in every room where important conversations are happening. Let's see what the Wicked community has to say.